He not only dragged Hugh Jackman into the forefront, but also Disney, the inside.
Ryan Reynolds is freaking out after Hugh Jackman finally speaks out about the insane Disney scandal that's shaking Hollywood.
Disney is in trouble. Marvel's in trouble. The studios involved are in
Studios
trouble.
involved are in trouble. As if that wasn't enough, Reynolds just got exposed for orchestrating a brutal smear campaign against Justin Baldoni.
He was, in fact, a part of the bullying that happened to Justin Baldoni.
From Marvel mayhem to personal betrayals, though.
A very traumatic, I believe, narcissistic abuse, bullying, false allegations, just everything you can think of.
Even star with this walking PR stunt named Ryan Reynolds, the man who once fooled everyone into thinking he was some kind of charming, lovable jokester, is now face first in the messiest, most embarrassing Hollywood scandal we've seen in a minute.
Mr. Reynolds now attempts to reduce plainly cognizable claims to hurt feelings, sending a clear message that bullying is acceptable.
Mr. Deadpool himself is now just dead in the water. I mean, imagine going from box office king to courtroom clown. That's the exact trajectory we're watching in real time. And let me tell you, the fall from grace isn't just steep, it's damn near vertical being.
Being Ryan admitted that the nice pool character in Deadpool was based on Justin, he not only dragged Hugh Jackman into the forefront and the directors and producers of the film, but also Disney, the insider continued.
The insider continued. So here's what's going on. Back in July 2024, Reynolds strutted into theaters with his big Marvel moment, Deadpool and Wolverine. You'd think he'd be riding high right now. Turns out that movie was the exact spark that lit a wildfire, a scandal that now has him tangled up with Hugh Jackman, his own wife Blake, lively actor Justin Baldwin. And yes, even Disney is sweating bullets. The dude basically managed to drag the happiest place on earth into one of the messiest lawsuits Hollywood's ever seen. That takes a special kind of ego, doesn't it?
Who cares? Again, the man is trying to survive a very traumatic, I believe, narcissistic abuse, bullying, false allegations, just everything you can think of.
And get this, Baldoni, who starred alongside Blake, and It Ends With Us, came swinging with a $400 million defamation lawsuit against Reynolds. $400 million, that's not a petty grudge, that's a financial death sentence. And the best part, Hugh Jackman, the so-called brother Reynolds used to fawn over on every red carpet, is now sitting with the opposition.
And like trying to normalize all of this, all of these gay jokes, but nobody's actually asking him to do that.
Yeah, buddy, when your bromance partner flips sides and starts spilling the tea, you know it's bad. Corporate giants like Marvel and Disney have even been pulled into the drama, scrambling for damage control like rats on a sinking ship. The receipts are flying everywhere, and we're eating them.
But like, this is really bad for Disney. This is really bad for everyone involved, especially when you start to see the notes, what was said, the minutes, any recording.
But let's talk about why Baldwin is not just mad, he's ready to nuke Reynolds' entire reputation. So in August 2024, Baldoni dropped a bomb. He claimed that Reynolds literally based a new character called Nice Pool off him. Reynolds apparently thought it would be hilarious to parody Baldoni as a woke man bun wearing softy with a prosthetic nose.
It has been shown that he is wearing a nose prosthetic or some type of makeup to make his nose bigger, I believe to make fun of his Jewish heritage, which is anti-Semitic.
Yeah, real original Ryan. So edgy, nothing screams comedy like mocking someone who is already getting dragged through hell in real life. And don't forget, Baldoni grew his hair out to donate it to cancer patients. So now Reynolds isn't just a washed-up comedian. He's mocking cancer donations. You can't make this stuff up.
I'm ready for the tea, but it's going to be exhausting combing through all of that stuff.
Instead of taking the hit like a man, Reynolds pulled his classic coward move in March 2025. He tried to wiggle out with emotion to dismiss, crying about how Baldoni was just too thin-skinned and couldn't take a joke. Oh, please, it was just a joke is the oldest excuse in the bully handbook.
Friedman scoffed at Reynolds' attempt to exit the case, and his claims about Baldoni's thin-skinned reaction to the Nice Pool character.
Reaction to the Nice Pool character. Next thing you know, he'll say boys will be boys grow up. Brian Fredman, Baldwin's lawyer, and honestly Hollywood's new favorite vigilant, and wasn't having it. He straight up called out Reynolds for orchestrating a coordinated smear campaign, not just petty teasing, but
that is the man bun. And that was what Justin Baldoni was growing his hair out for. And there's Ryan Reynolds making fun of it. And
if you think that's the worst part, buckle up. Baldoni was hospitalized in June 2024 with a stress-induced spinal infection. Yeah, a real medical crisis. And not because he tripped on set or pulled a muscle. No, the man's body literally broke down under the weight of bullying, false allegations, and constant humiliation. But sure, Ryan, tell us again how he's just being sensitive. Go ahead and gaslight the world while you're at it.
Based on this is based on real allegations and a real life thing that happened. This isn't just making fun of someone. This is, supposed to be tied into It Ends With Us and the sexual harassment.
Reynolds allegedly used his Hollywood clout to pressure WME William Morris Endeavor into dropping Baldoni as a client. Imagine being so insecure that you need to destroy someone's career just to keep your ego intact. Like, this isn't high school drama, bro. This is an actual career. But clearly Ryan thinks he's the king of the industry and can play puppet master behind the scenes. We see you now.
He was, in fact, a part of the bullying that happened to...
Now, let's get to the juiciest betrayal of all. Hugh freaking Jackman. This man used to be Reynolds' BFF, his ride or die the guy. He made entire branding campaigns around. They called each other brothers. They joked about their bromance like it was some quirky fanfiction. And now Jackman is being deposed in the very lawsuit that could destroy Reynolds' career. You can almost hear the Deadpool theme music turning into funeral bells.
Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, will be deposed. And I suspect that might be making Ryan Reynolds extremely nervous, and I'll tell you why.
Let's break it down. Jackman, who literally helped Reynolds get his foot into the X-Men universe, is now legally obligated to talk, and baby, the tea is hot. Allegations suggest he knew about the bullying, the nice pool mockery, and stayed quiet during the whole production of Deadpool and Wolverine. That's not loyalty, that's complicity. And now, under oath, Jackman's truths are reportedly deepening Reynolds' legal exposure. Translation: he's not covering for his buddy anymore. He's saving himself.
They said that the fact that Reynolds has not disputed the claim that Nice Pool was based on Baldoni had opened up the scope of how Baldoni's lawyers may attempt to prove that their client had been under a coordinated attack.
And here's something you can't ignore. In September 20th, 23, right in the middle of all this Deadpool chaos, Jackman divorced his wife of 27 years. Coincidence? Sure, Jan, that timing is too perfect to ignore. Behind the scenes, people are whispering about the weirdly intimate relationship between him and Reynolds. Turns out they referred to each other as life partners, not bros, not colleagues, but life partners. Are we just going to gloss over that? The
love interest of his best friend's wife, and the guy trying to replace Ryan as a husband and me as his best mate. Holy shit. What the hell are you doing messing with my best buddies?
Reynolds tries to joke his way out of accountability. The people closest to him are walking away, flipping on him, or revealing who he really is. And Disney, Marvel, they're quietly praying this all just goes away. But it won't, not when their billion-dollar franchise is now being used as a courtroom prop in a real-life smear campaign.
This lawsuit is very multi-layered, but besides that, he has not yet sued Disney and Marvel, but I do see that coming unless Disney and Marvel decides to settle with him, which I think would make the most sense for them.
So here we are. The charming guy in a red suit with snappy one-liners is no longer the joke teller. He is the joke. The meltdown is loud, messy, and unfolding right in front of us. Keep watching, because if this is only the beginning, the rest of the fall is going to be absolutely brutal.
He is being awarded for his contributions with a deposition. All right.
Oh, we're deep in the trenches now, and Ryan Reynolds, this man has gone from red carpet royalty to a walking pee nightmare at this point. He's not just sinking, he's dragging Disney, Marvel, his wife, and his so-called life partner, Hugh Jackman, right down with him. Like, seriously, who knew one guy could be the epicenter of so much chaos? Baldwin's legal team isn't just coming for Reynolds anymore. Nope, they're lifting the whole corporate veil and digging into whether Disney actually funded defamatory content in Deadpool and Wolverine. That's right, the happiest place on earth might have cut the check for a full-blown hit piece.
Again, this is wild that Disney would allow this.
Gets worse, Disney didn't just look the other way. They let Reynolds' own daughter deliver the most vulgar line in the film. You know, the one where she says, "If I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's day out of your mouth." Like, what the actual hell? That's not edgy, that's not funny, that's disgusting. And this isn't some 18+ rated HBO show. It's a Marvel blockbuster co-signed by a company that literally sells princess costumes to toddlers. But
we know they allowed that little girl to say, his daughter, Ryan Reynolds' daughter, to say, "If I want your opinion, I'll take Wolverine's D out of your mouth." And Wolverine is Hugh Jackman, who is basically an uncle.
But of course Reynolds thought it was hilarious, because if there's one thing Ryan can't resist, it's a chance to shove his juvenile humor into a script and call it satire. The joke backfired, the internet blew up, and now Disney's clean-cut brand is smeared with the stench of Reynolds' frat boy antics. The worst part, that line was aimed at Hugh Jackman, the very man Reynolds pretends to adore. It's beyond betrayal, it's straight-up character assassination, and surround sound funded by Mickey Mouse himself.
His fingerprints have been all over this smear campaign against Justin and the Wayfair team since day one. He's
made $350 plus million at the box office. None of that means squat if it ends up being evidence in court. That's right, this isn't just a flop, and taste, it might be the smoking gun in a lawsuit that could multiple careers if Baldwin's team proves that Disney or Marvel knew about Nice Pool being a direct dig. Then boom, Marvel Studios becomes an accomplice in a legal circus.
Baldwin's legal team wants to get the full scope of Reynolds' conduct during the time that It Ends With Us was being filmed.
And let's not forget the looming threat of a RICO case that's racketeering, baby. Not a vibe you want attached to a superhero flick. So congrats, Ryan, you didn't just ruin your reputation, you put a dent in the MCU.
This is
Ryan Reynolds' bromances, his various bromances over the years. We've talked about him and Jake Gyllenhaal, and obviously this has been a bromance that has been very much thrown in the public.
Now let's get into this whole bromance mess. Reynolds has been publicly obsessed with Hugh Jackman for years, and at first, yeah, it was kind of cute, two stars joking around, making fun of each other online, whatever, but somewhere along the line the bromance turned into whatever this is.
Ryan has said in an interview that he always gets consent from the person before he does any type of satirical work or makes fun of them in the movie. Surely not to the point of Nice Pool, but if he makes a joke about somebody that he knows or another star, that he gets consent. So
because according to Reynolds himself, they rely on each other like spouses. Oh, okay, that's not romantic, that's domestic. This man has 4 kids and a literal wife. But sure, let's call Hugh the most important man in his life. Like, who says that with a straight face and expects people not to raise eyebrows?
Ryan's kind of perpetually highly publicizing his bromances is something that I find to be quite strange, right? Mostly because he's a 48-year-old man, Ryan Reynolds. He has 4 kids, and he seems to dedicate a lot of time and resources.
Oh, and let's not gloss over Jackman's divorce in 2023, right in the middle of Deadpool filming. No less, he split from his wife of 27 years, and suddenly all these whispers about a lavender marriage start swirling, and Reynolds not helping his case at all. Word is he kissed Jackman passionately in a scene that didn't even call for it, just took it upon himself to throw some unscrew scripted lip-locking into a Marvel movie. Bro, what even is the boundary? Any more fans were confused, executives were concerned, and Reynolds, oh, he was just out here playing real-life fanfiction, turning the MCU into his personal emotional soap opera.
That these bromances are perfectly normal. And we're not really asking for that convincing. Like, I don't need people to convince me that guys can hang out with one another, but he feels like he has to make that effort. So he's like, nothing's weird here, nothing's weird.
Ryan's kind of perpetually highly publicizing his bromance is something that I find to be quite strange, right? Mostly because he's a 48-year-old man, Ryan Reynolds, he has 4 kids, and he seems to dedicate a lot of time and resources. Jackman's PR team was so alarmed they had to do a full media pivot, shifting focus away from the sexuality rumors and onto career growth and other vague fluff. Meanwhile, Reynolds kept fueling speculation with more "we're basically married" quotes and red carpet stunts. At this point, it feels like he's more invested in Jackman's approval than his own family, which brings us to Exhibit A. Blake Lively, Hollywood's reigning queen of pretending everything's fine.
It didn't work.
And all of these things, and then once you find out what was actually, what was Ryan telling people, how did they come about to develop this Nice Pool character? Did Disney know that this was what they were trying to do?
Blake has always been marketed as the picture-perfect wife, glowing on red carpets, posing for family photos, showing up in all the right ways. But behind that polished image, people are finally starting to talk, and the whispers not good. She's now being referred to as a potential beard, a term that suggests her entire marriage to Reynolds might be just for show. The emotional distance is obvious. While Ryan is out here writing love sonnets to Jackman and interviews, he's also
Reynolds is seeking dismissal with prejudice, which would bar Baldoni from refiling the suit in the future. It's going nowhere. It's ridiculous.
Let's not forget, in December 2024, Blake filed her own lawsuit against Baldoni, accusing him of sexual harassment. But Here's the thing, the timing was suspicious as hell. It came right in the middle of Reynolds' legal issues and looked more like a strategic distraction than anything based on real events. Critics saw right through it. People began accusing her of being a pawn in Reynolds' game, using
What's that last line? Oh, he's gay. Oh, yeah, see, straight guys don't say that. There's nothing wrong with being gay in any way, but he definitely is.
Meanwhile, rumors started swirling that Blake and Baldoni had developed an emotional connection during It End With Us filming, not a full-blown affair, but enough to get Reynolds' control freak tendencies firing on all cylinders. He allegedly tried to manipulate the media, push headlines, and destroy Baldwin's credibility. Dude was out here playing puppet master while pretending to be the victim Reynolds is seeking dismissal with prejudice, which would bar Baldwin from refiling the suit in the future. It's going no.
It's the same type of bullying that we see from him, and it's just really weird and aggressive for that type of language to come from an actual attorney. So
meanwhile, he torched Disney, dragged Marvel into scandal, and still walks around like he's Hollywood's favorite clown, but the charm's worn off. The world's finally seeing the manipulator behind the sarcasm. He used his fame like a weapon, allegedly blackballing Justin Baldoni and pulling strings at WME like a puppet master. Ryan thought he could control everything. Now it's all crashing down around him, and honestly, it's deserved.
Friedman doubled down, accusing Reynolds of playing a central role in what he called a smear campaign. Mr. Reynolds was a key player in the scheme, defaming Justin around Hollywood, strong-arming WME into dropping Justin as a client, and trying to destroy Justin's career however possible.
Behind Ryan Reynolds' smug grin is a man who allegedly manipulates media like a puppet master, spinning every headline to make himself look like the misunderstood genius, while painting Justin Baldoni as some oversensitive joke. Boney was telling a raw story about domestic violence, and what did Reynolds do? Made a cringy skit with his mom and wife that mocked the entire message. Then in interviews, he gaslit Baldwin's trauma like it was a meme. This man was hospitalized, and Reynolds called it over. Reacting, he usually brags about getting consent before parodying people, but not this time. Why? Because humiliation was the point, and mocking the lawsuit on
a break.
They noted that the action of creating Nice Pool presented further questions. Furthermore, why would Ryan, who believed that his wife was being sexually abused or harassed at the time, create a role for his attacker?
Now, let's talk about the man behind the sarcasm, because Reynolds isn't just some misunderstood funny man. He's been accused of sociopathic tendencies, and honestly, the puzzle pieces are clicking into place. This guy allegedly tried to crush Baldoni both emotionally and financially, all while maintaining his squeaky clean, self-deprecating public image behind closed doors. He's gaslighting people, manipulating narratives, and playing puppet master. But in front of the camera, he's just a guy who loves his family and tequila.
Blake and Ryan thought they were untouchable and could get away with anything. In his recent legal requests, Reynolds described himself as a supportive spouse who has witnessed firsthand the emotional and reputational and financial devastation Lively endured.
Reynolds is obsessed with this idea of normalizing bromance, constant gay jokes, constant reassurance that it's totally okay for two guys to be close, cool, no one asked, no one's judging you, bro. But when you're constantly making jokes about being in love with your best friend while treating your wife like a prop, people are going to ask questions. And let's not ignore the fact that Jackman himself called Reynolds a listener and emotional partner. That's not a friendship, that's a...
Brian Friedman said, Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse.
Lively endured, and now we're in the final act of the Ryan Reynolds saga. Depositions have started, names are being named, lawyers are lining up like it's a buffet. This isn't just about Reynolds anymore, it's about Hollywood's power dynamics and how easily fame can be weaponized to destroy someone's life. More celebrities could get dragged in, more studios might get exposed, and Reynolds, he's running out of places to hide.
Mr. Reynolds can appear in as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make light of his current situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions.
Disney, the empire that once stood behind him like a proud parent, now faces its own dilemma: settle quietly and admit defeat, or roll the dice in court and risk a discovery process that could expose unreleased footage, internal email, as shady memos, basically everything they never wanted the public to see.
Like a gay guy.
Is Blake Lively a beard? Like, is she there just to produce kids and to give him that family image?
The mouse is sweating, and honestly, they should be. Mr. Reynolds can appear in as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make light of his current situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions.
After lighting a match, Mr. Reynolds now seeks to run from the flames. It won't work. The Wayfair party's claims against him are real, and they are serious.
As for Jackman, he's officially broken ranks. The 20-year bromance over Reynolds thought he could count on Hugh to stay silent forever, but when legal pressure kicks in, loyalty doesn't pay the bills. Jackman's playing survival mode. Now he knows the ship is going down, and he's jumping off before the smoke.
Brian Friedman said Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse.
Lively endured, and now we're in the final act of the Ryan Reynolds saga. Depositions have started, names are being named, lawyers are lining up like it's a buffet. This isn't just about Reynolds anymore, it's about Hollywood's power dynamics and how easily fame can be weaponized to destroy someone's life. More celebrities could get dragged in, more studios might get exposed, and Reynolds, he's running out of places to hide.
Mr. Reynolds can appear in as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make light of his current situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions.
Disney, the empire that once stood behind him like a proud parent, now faces its own dilemma. Settle quietly and admit defeat, or roll the dice in court and risk a discovery process that could expose unreleased footage, internal email, as shady memos, basically everything they never wanted the public to see.
Like a gay guy.
Is Blake Lively a beard? Like, is she there just to produce kids and to give him that family image?
The mouse is sweating, and honestly, they should be. Mr. Reynolds can appear in as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make light of his current situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions.
After lighting a match, Mr. Reynolds now seeks to run from the flames. It won't work. The Wayfair party's claims against him are real, and they are serious. Brian Friedman said Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse.
Lively endured, and now we're in the final act of the Ryan Reynolds saga. Depositions have started, names are being named, lawyers are lining up like it's a buffet. This isn't just about Reynolds anymore, it's about Hollywood's power dynamics and how easily fame can be weaponized to destroy someone's life. More celebrities could get dragged in, more studios might get exposed, and Reynolds, he's running out of places to hide.
Mr. Reynolds can appear in as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make light of his current situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions.
Disney, the empire that once stood behind him like a proud parent, now faces its own dilemma. Settle quietly and admit defeat, or roll the dice in court and risk a discovery process that could expose unreleased footage, internal email, as shady memos, basically everything they never wanted the public to see.
Like a gay guy.
Is Blake Lively a beard? Like, is she there just to produce kids and to give him that family image?
The mouse is sweating, and honestly, they should be. Mr. Reynolds can appear in as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make light of his current situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions.
After lighting a match, Mr. Reynolds now seeks to run from the flames. It won't work. The Wayfair party's claims against him are real, and they are serious. Brian Friedman said Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse.
Lively endured, and now we're in the final act of the Ryan Reynolds saga. Depositions have started, names are being named, lawyers are lining up like it's a buffet. This isn't just about Reynolds anymore, it's about Hollywood's power dynamics and how easily fame can be weaponized to destroy someone's life. More celebrities could get dragged in, more studios might get exposed, and Reynolds, he's running out of places to hide.
Mr. Reynolds can appear in as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make light of his current situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions.
Disney, the empire that once stood behind him like a proud parent, now faces its own dilemma: settle quietly and admit defeat, or roll the dice in court and risk a discovery process that could expose unreleased footage, internal email, as shady memos, basically everything they never wanted the public to see.
Like a gay guy.
Is Blake Lively a beard? Like, is she there just to produce kids and to give him that family image?
The mouse is sweating, and honestly, they should be. Mr. Reynolds can appear in as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make light of his current situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions.
After lighting a match, Mr. Reynolds now seeks to run from the flames. It won't work. The Wayfarer party's claims against him are real, and they are serious.